Hey, how's it going everyone? Hope you're doing good today. My name is Mike. I'm from altcointradingsignal.com and I'm here today to help you set up GUNBOT with a strategy that I found works best for me. Now, if you go to YouTube and type in something along the lines of how to use GUNBOT or how to set GUNBOT up, you're going to see a ton of videos, and I actually suggest you watch all of them, but what I'm about to show you right here, you won't see anywhere else. So pay attention. So now what we're going to do is set up GUNBOT from scratch. So I want you to open up your browser, could be Chrome or Firefox, and go to Google and type in download GUNBOT. I just find this to be the easiest way. Now you're going to want to go to this link, github.com/GuntherDinero/Bitcoin/release. You can see right here when we click it. It looks just like this. Make sure the URL is exactly the same. Alright, so now depending on what operating system you have, you select from one of these below. Win stands for Windows, and that's what I have, so that's what I'm going to click. As you can see, it's downloading to desktop right now. So what I'm going to do is minimize this. Alright, right now it's zipped up, so we're going to have to extract it. So right click on the folder, click Extract All. Extract. Now I'm going to delete the zipped one because it extracted on this folder right here. Okay, now when you open this folder, here's what's inside of it. So click on Win for Windows. Now one thing you're going to have to do is make an exception in your firewall so that you could run GUNBOT. But just before you do that, I want you to double click this and see if it opens. Because if it opens, then you could skip this next step. Click More Info, Run Anyways. So if this opens up and you can see this right here, then you do not have to touch your firewall at all. But if you tried to open this and it didn't work, then we're going to have to make an exception in your firewall. So what you're going to want to do is go to the bottom left corner, go into your control panel. I'm just going to type it in. System and Security, Firewall, Advanced Settings. Okay, so now we have to make an exception for port 3000 and ports 5000 through 6000, both in inbound and outbound. You see we have inbound right here and outbound right here. Now as you can see, I already have them in here, but since this is a tutorial, I'm just going to show you how to do it. So click New Rule up here, then click on Port. Next. Leave that as TCP. Alright, so the port, go to 3000. That's going to be the first one. Next. Make sure you click this Allow the Connection. Next. Keep all those selected. Next. Then you're going to want to add a name, so GUNBOT Outbound 3000, because that's what that was. Then you click Finish, but I'm not going to click Finish because I already have it there. And what it will do is create this right here. And then you're going to want to click Inbound Rules and do the exact same thing. New rule, port 3000. You know, you get the idea. Both inbound and outbound have to have a port 3000 open. Then now you want to do it one more time for ports 5000 through 6000. So click Inbound, New Rule. It's going to be the same thing. Port, next. And this time you're going to want to put 5000 through 6000 with that in between, that dash, and then click Next. Allow this connection, next, and then name it. See how I named it GUNBOT 5000 through 6000 there, and then same thing with outbound. See, I named it GUNBOT Outbound 5000 through 6000. And after that's done, go ahead and restart your computer and you should be able to open GUNBOT. And if you still can't, maybe you have another firewall that you need to do that exact same process with in that firewall. But for the example that I gave you, we put that exception in the Windows firewall, which is what most of you will have. Okay, so now that you allowed GUNBOT to communicate through your firewall, you should be able to click Gunthi GUI, and this should load up right here. So now go ahead and copy this. Go to your browser and paste it in. Localhost /5000. Go ahead and create a password. And then now here is where you configure GUNBOT. So basically what's happening is GUNBOT is running in this black box but we're able to control it through your web browser, this localhost 5000. See, GUI stands for Graphic User Interface, and this makes it to where we're able to configure it a little bit easier. Click on Settings right here. Now when you purchase GUNBOT from a reseller, you have to give them an API number so that they can authorize you to use GUNBOT. But don't worry, you're only giving them your API number, not your secret key, so they can't do anything with your funds or even see them. Now if you haven't bought GUNBOT yet, then you'll need to find a reseller. The creator himself doesn't sell GUNBOT. I think it's because he focuses on new features and updates, which is great. So, with that being said, there are various websites that sell GUNBOT, all for the exact same price. And for me, since the price is all the same everywhere, the main determining factor I looked for was customer service. Because customer service is the one who answers all of your questions about GUNBOT and helps you with any problems you run into. See, I'm the type of person who highly researches everything. So, after finding almost every reseller, I asked them all basically the same general questions, which they were all helpful with, but when I got into the harder questions that required some detailed responses, that's when 3 resellers really stood out. They just went above and beyond the others with their customer service. Now, if you'd like to know which resellers I'm talking about, then check out the rest of my GUNBOT review on my website. Just click on the link in the description below. There you'll find some more information about GUNBOT and which resellers were most helpful to me. Now back to the setup process. Sorry guys. So when you buy GUNBOT, they're going to ask you what exchange is the API key for. So you want to click on whatever one it is. In here you enter the key and the secret. Now if you've never created an API key before, then I'll show you how to create one really quick. So go ahead and go to like Binance.com or Bittrex, wherever you trade. Go in your settings and you'll see something called API. Right when you go to Binance, it's the first thing that you see on the page, and on Bittrex I believe you have to click on settings and then go down and click API. So once you find it, go ahead and click it, API. So now let's go ahead and label it. Let's call it GUNBOT. Click on create. And go ahead and verify it with my 2FA. Okay, now as you can see, API created. Now it is very important that you keep this information in a safe place. This is basically like a backdoor into your account. Like on the front end, you could have a really secure password, you could have 2FA enabled, but the API keys, there's nothing blocking them. So it's really important that you keep your secret keys secret. Only you should know this. So now what you're going to want to do is enter this one right here into the key spot right here, and then the secret into the secret spot. Easy. Now, in order for this API key to be usable in GUNBOT, you got to have read info checked and enable trading checked. If it's not, you can go ahead and click edit right here and then see how you can check them right now. Make sure enable withdrawals are not checked. You do not want this checked. Now, before you click the save button, you want to make sure you have the secret key copied down somewhere, because once you click save, it disappears forever. Alright, so then you go ahead and click save. It's going to want you to confirm it with 2FA. Then you go ahead and enter it in and it saves. But now that you've seen my secret key, my account's compromised, so I'm actually going to delete this. But you're not going to delete yours. Alright, so now that you created your API key, you're going to want to go ahead and click on the correct exchange and type it in right there and click add. Alright, so once you have your API key in here and it's showing up here below, go ahead and click bot. So this top part here that I'm circling, the only thing you have to worry about is watch mode. Make sure that's disabled. If it's enabled, it will just basically pretend to do trades. But our main focus is going to be on this area down here, TradingView plugin. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what does all this mean? And that's a valid question. So let's see, I'm going to scroll up really quick and click on Wiki. It's going to open up a new tab. So this is basically like a user guide for the GUNBOT. It explains everything in detail, but what we're going to be using right here is the TradingView add-on. Now go ahead and scroll down to the bottom, and as you can see, it explains what all these things mean now. So what you could do is do something like that. So you could read about exactly what each one of these things do. So basically when a buy alert goes off, it buys this amount, and when a sell alert goes off, it sells this amount. So this is going to be completely up to you. It's dependent on how much money you actually have and you're investing. What I would recommend is about 5% of your trading portfolio, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to set this bot up to run for multiple different pairs, like multiple different coins it's trying to trade, and you're going to get a bunch of buy and sell signals. So you want to make sure you have enough capital so that when the alert goes off, you could actually make that trade. So TV limit cap basically means like how many times is the bot going to buy a specific coin until it says, like, whoa, that's way too much. We have way too much of this coin. So just to make things really simple, let's say each time you bought a half a Bitcoin, and your maximum would be 1 Bitcoin. So that means you could only do 2 trades until the cap limit is executed and it stops you from buying more. So this is basically setting your limit to how much you could accumulate that specific coin. So like I said, these 3 boxes depend on how much you have to invest. And then whenever number I set the buy and sell to, I usually just times it by 3 and put it in here. Now for TV pyramid, pyramid buy, and TV protection, go ahead and disable all 3 of them. Now when you do that, that means this becomes disabled, so you don't have to worry about the TV gain. TV stop loss percentage is basically like how far will you lose before you panic sell. So it remembers when you buy, and if you lose 60% of that initial investment, then it automatically panic sells and sells all of your coins. Now the bot usually gives a signal to sell way before you lose 60%, but just to be on the safe side, I set this to 100 because I don't want any panic selling happening. I want the script to tell the bot when to buy and sell. Okay, then you want to scroll down to the very bottom. Telegram notifications, you could use that. You're going to have to talk to your reseller about it. I actually don't have this Telegram bot, so me personally, I'm turning this off, but you can keep it on. Alright, now looking at this advanced mode, this is basically what we selected up here, but just in like a rough format. See, if you take a look, TV trading limit by 0.5, we scroll up, here it is right here. Of course, I'm not going to trade 0.5 of a Bitcoin per trade. I just did that in an example so you could understand what the TV cap limit was. But either way, when you get done, go ahead and scroll down and click Save. And then now these settings are saved. Then now what you want to do is scroll up and click Imap Listener. Now Imap Listener is very important because this is what turns the TradingView plugin on and off. So what you're going to want to do is click Enable. Then I want you to go to gmail.com and create an entire new Gmail account. Do not use it for anything other than this. So once you create a brand new Gmail account, go ahead and put it in here. test@gmail.com. As you can see, it's typing in down here. Test 1, 2, 3. Reject unauthorized. Go ahead and check that. Go ahead and scroll down. Click Save. Alright, now we don't have to touch WebSockets. That's perfectly fine. So now if you click on Strategies over here, this is what GUNBOT has by itself. So if you weren't going to use the scripts, the method I'm about to show you, then you'd have to mess around with this, which is basically a whole, let me make this bigger. This is a bunch of numbers. Now there is ways to backtest this, but honestly I've had a lot of success using Pine scripts, so I really just don't want to get into any of this. But this is something that you could type in, like how to use GUNBOT on YouTube, and I'm sure all the other videos will be people showing you how to use this method. But since we're not using this method, we don't have to touch anything here, and we can just move on. So go ahead and click Setup, click New Setup, click on the exchange that we selected during the API setup. Now if I put a valid API number, it would have showed up right here as Binance. So yours will, just so you know, but I didn't put the API number because I'm trying to make this a tutorial and I don't want to show you guys my personal information. So then what you want to do now is type in this BTC LTC. So this part may sound a bit confusing, but we actually have to do this. Now think of GUNBOT as running 2 different ways. If we have, see in the settings where we turned IMAP on and we put in our Gmail and password, so what happens is the TradingView plugin completely overrides everything else GUNBOT does. So in the settings category, none of that will matter anymore because we have IMAP enabled. So also what we put in right here doesn't really matter. But we actually have to do this in order to get things going. So just type in anything here, but it has to be valid. See BTC and then that dash LTC, so Bitcoin to Litecoin. And then you can go ahead and just click any of them. See, if you were using GUNBOT, there's all these different strategies that you could pick. But we're using the TradingView plugin, so it doesn't matter. So go ahead and click anything. Click Add Pair. So let me go ahead and move on to my working GUNBOT so we can finish off with this process. So I'm going to open the Gunthi GUI. I'm going to open a new browser. Go to localhost 5000. Type in my password. Setup. I'll go to new setup just so you can see the process. Alright, so name the setup whatever you want. TradingView. Click on the exchange, Binance, BTC, LTC. Remember, I could just pick anything here. Scroll down, click Create. Go to Dashboard. So now what we're at is this screen right here. You can just click Dashboard right here. Then you want to select the correct strategy. Now this preview panel is great right here because you could see the settings that's about to run before you run it. So now would be a good time to click on each one of these and make sure everything's set up the way you wanted it to. So once you saw everything was set up correctly, go ahead and click Run GUNBOT. Now as you can see in the background, it loaded Binance, and you can tell it's working because it's looking for emails. So what GUNBOT is doing is signing on that email address, that new Gmail you created. It signs on that and it looks for an email from TradingView. And if it gets that email from TradingView, then it trades based on whatever it says in that email. And as you can see, it checks the email, about once every 3 seconds. Now you can run GUNBOT 2 different ways. This is through the GUI. Remember how I said right here the graphic user interface? And this uses more of your computer's resources. So I actually don't like running GUNBOT through the web browser here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is exit out of this, because these boxes stay open. See, I think what happened is I forgot to click stop. So let me go back into this. Okay. Now I sign back on through localhost. Yeah, see, I had to click stop. So I click stop, and now I can close out of everything. And then now what I do is I go inside my GUNBOT folder. Now once we have everything set up, you're going to have a new folder called setups. Go ahead and click that. Go ahead and click on the one you're working on. And then I go ahead and run this Gunthi. It runs right out of this command prompt. I don't actually have to run it out of a Chrome browser, which is good because it uses less of your computer's resources. So now I can just minimize this, and here it is down here below, and you will need to have that running if you want GUNBOT to be working. This is GUNBOT, this box right here. So when I exit out here, GUNBOT is no longer on, and it's not going to do any trades. That's why you got to have a computer that you keep on at all times. Alright, so now that you have GUNBOT running in the background, go ahead and minimize that. Open up your browser, go to tradingview.com. Hopefully you already have an account by now. If not, go ahead and make one. Then go in your settings, in your profile settings, and go ahead and add that email address that you just created that you used for GUNBOT. Because when an alert goes off here, we want it to be sent to that email address so that GUNBOT could read it and then execute the trade. Okay, so now that you've done that, you want to go ahead and buy the script so that you have access to use it within your TradingView. So if you'd like a link on how to get the script, it's in the description below. So once you buy the script, he then gives you access to use it, and you'll be able to find it in this indicators tab, and then click on the invite only scripts. And then from that point, if you click on heartbeat, it then pops up over here. So you got to push this plus button, and then a drop down will appear, and you can see the heartbeat right here. So if it's not already visible, go ahead and click the I so you can see. Now if we take a look at the chart, we start to see the signals. But as you can see right now, we're not getting the best buy and sell signals. See, it's telling you to buy up here and sell down here. So we're going to have to tweak the settings a little bit. Now there's 2 ways to do this. One, you can change the time interval. See, when we do this, it changes a little bit. Might be hard to see, sorry. If you use shorter time intervals, then it trades more frequently, which me personally I don't like. I'm more of a swing trader, so I like to trade on usually like the 3 or 4 hour. So I'm going to click on the 3 hour, scroll out. Yeah, it's not looking too good. So now what we want to do is click on the gear right here, settings, or rather format. So go ahead and click that, and here is where you're actually going to be spending most of your time, because you're going to have to tweak around with these numbers until you get the results you're looking for. But if you think about it, if you spend just 10 minutes, every 2 or 3 days doing this, you're going to get the best results. So let me go ahead and change these. Now if you're wondering where I came up with these numbers, these are actually the numbers that the creator himself gave me, and I kind of just use them as a baseline. So I usually just input those numbers and then I tweak them accordingly. See, now if you take a look, the signals aren't the greatest, but there is a big improvement. As you can see, it got a buy right here and it sold it right here. So that's a nice 100% profit. And what's nice is it got the sell signal and it saved you from losing 60% of your investment. And then the buy signal it gave was actually a pretty good one right here. That's 58% at 33 days. So now let's just say we like the way our numbers are set up, and now we want to set an alert so that the bot could trade when these signals go off. So what you want to do now is right click on the chart, click on add alert. Now for the condition, go ahead and select that. Scroll down, look for the heartbeat. That's the script we're using, as you can see right here, heartbeat. Make sure buy is selected here, make sure buy is selected there. Click once per bar close. Go ahead and go to the expiration time and put that as far as you can. Usually it's only a month. Now for alert actions, the only thing that's going to be important for GUNBOT to be able to trade is send email. That has to be checked. Everything else here is up to you, but I honestly like to hear the sound and get the pop-up when the alert goes off, so I keep that there. Now here in this message area is going to be the most important part. So what you're going to want to do is go back to that wiki page, the TradingView add-on section. Go ahead and scroll all the way down. And here's what you have to type in order for your bot to recognize there's a trade that it needs to do. See, we're using Binance, so we're going to replace it right there. So let me go ahead and go back to the TradingView and I'll show you how to set that up. Alright, so that's going to be the proper setup for this specific coin. We're trading ADA on Binance, and that's where we set GUNBOT up, if you remember. And the best way that I personally remember this is I take the first word and the last word. See, look, buy ADA. So this is what this is going to do. It's going to buy ADA. So go ahead and click create. So now that we have the buy alert set up, now we have to set the sell alerts up. So right click on the chart again, go to add alert, condition, go back down, find heartbeat, but this time click sell. Both areas, sell. Once per bar close for the expiration date, as far forward as you can. Remember, send email is the only thing that's important that needs to be checked. And this time we're going to type in sell Binance Bitcoin ADA. So it's going to be selling on Binance ADA for Bitcoin. The first coin's always the base. Alright, then go ahead and click create. Now if you ever need to edit or delete those alerts, you could find them in this alert tab right here that I'm circling. Alright guys, so that's basically it. Now your GUNBOT is going to be trading based on these alerts that the Pine script is giving. Now unfortunately, you can't just close out of your TradingView account because then the script itself will close. So you do have to keep this open along with your GUNBOT right here. Just minimize it. But if you want to run multiple different trading pairs, then go ahead and just open a new tab. Go back to the TradingView. Then you can go ahead and just repeat that same process because it's in a completely different tab and it saves it. Now that's what I personally do. I have about 10 tabs open with all my trades, but there is a different way to do it. You can click one of these. You could put like 3 charts in one page, but then it gets a little bit too cluttered for me, so that's why I personally keep it 1 chart per tab. Now if you don't think you could have a web browser and GUNBOT running in the background 24/7 with your computer on 24/7, then I recommend you get a virtual private server, which is actually what I'm using right here. You rent a computer somewhere else and you connect on it, and you connect to it via remote desktop connection. See, as you can see behind, here's my regular computer, and then I just sign on here where I have my GUNBOT and my scripts loaded. If you'd like to know which virtual private server that I'm using, you guessed it, it'll be in the link in the description below. Now this script is great and I've had a lot of success with it, but right now I'm using Tim's other script, which is called God version 2. But don't worry, when you purchase this script, you actually get multiple different scripts for that one price, and both of them will be included in that package. I was going to show you how to use it in this video, but honestly, this video is getting a bit too long, so I'm actually going to make another video showing you exactly how I use the God version 2 script, which is the one that I'm currently using as of today. So go ahead and click the next video if you're interested in seeing that. Alright guys, have a good day.